My first time kicking a football was, what I can remember, was about 5 years old in the backyard with my dad. Come from the northeast, so pretty football mad region, and to be honest, I think as soon as I could walk and I was running a little bit, I think it was always going to be football. I think me playing for England in them youth age groups from 15s, 17s, 19s, 20s, 23s, I think it was so important in my development as a footballer, and it gave me a taste of what it's like to play for England, which is the greatest honour that you could ever have as a sports person. People probably think that I'm quite confident, and but it certainly wasn't the case when I was younger. I think being in an environment where you're probably one of the only girls in your town or village to play football, and then you're kind of in the England spotlight and you're with players that are playing it, the likes of Arsenal, playing at Fulham at the time, and you're playing with these players and you're a girl from Sunderland. It can be quite daunting going away on your first England trip when you've never been away from home. So I was quite shy, and I was a little bit anxious of what I could do in an England environment, but I really do feel as though that moment that you put the 3 lions on your chest and you automatically grow in confidence, I think then it just gives you like such a good feeling in the sense of like, this is what I've worked so hard for so far in my career, to be given this opportunity to represent England and to give myself a really good chance of having the career that I had. And yeah, that moment was so special. For me, I think just being in that environment is so special. I think there is so many good people that you can kind of look back on your career and be like, they really had a big impact. And I always speak about my teammates. They're the ones that you train with, they're the ones that you push to kind of get better and to ultimately win for England. But I think there's managers that at that moment in my career, especially in the underage groups, Mo Marley was massive, like I can't even describe. I know I'm very, very fortunate for the coaches and the staff around the coaches, but also my teammates as well. My first senior call-up was very random, to be honest. I knew that I was in and out and maybe potentially getting called up, but I didn't ever think it would ever be for this game. And England were playing Germany away, and I can remember specifically they were meeting up on the Sunday, and my dad got a phone call on the Friday evening saying, we need Steph to come away. So obviously the answer was always yes, and you're all of a sudden driving down to London to get a flight to Germany with the rest of the girls. And when I speak about the girls, there's legends like Kelly Smith, Faye White, Rachel Yankee, all those girls that you've watched and you've grown up to try and inspire to be, and now you're sitting on a plane going to Germany to play an unbelievably world-class team at the time. For me, it was like a kind of a pinch myself moment. I can remember being so nervous, and just to be in that moment and to be involved in that squad was, something I'll always remember. My actual debut was at MK Dons, and we were playing Russia. So I was just buzzing to be involved in the squad. I didn't expect any game time whatsoever. I was just this young northeast girl that came in and was just trying to embrace every opportunity to be in and around the players. And I always remember Hope at about 65 minutes going, Steph, go and get warm. And I thought, oh, is she really talking about me? And so I went and got warm. It was probably the quickest warm-up I've ever done. I made sure I was ready. And to come on for England, I think at 17, 18, I had absolute goosebumps. I think just even the reception from the crowd, and I always remember Hope going to us, just enjoy it, just do what you've done in training. And I think that's what dreams are made of. To be on that pitch with them players and to play for England at that level was a dream come true for me and for my family. I remember my first goal was against South Africa in the Cyprus Cup, a simple corner header, but obviously so delighted, and the feeling to score for England was unbelievable. World Cup against Norway, I think to score that and to make it 1-1 for us to get to a quarter-final was an important moment in the game. To be able to score in qualifiers, to be able to score against America, a free kick, which was probably one of my best against one of the best teams in the world. When I go on England camp, I'm so excited because you're representing England, and you're able to train as hard as you can, and everybody has a certain goal to reach, but you're with each other a lot more than you are with your families. I've been around some amazing people, and you know what, not just amazing people, but really talented footballers, and I'm so fortunate that we were able to succeed together, and we were able to share the best memories in my career together, because I think that's what makes it more special, is that you work so hard on the pitch, but you have that trust of your teammates. England captain, I actually can't put into words what being given that role means to me, to my family. To be able to do that for 8 years was the best honour you could ever imagine. I was 25 at the time. I never thought in a million years that I would ever be considered. I was just thinking about keeping my place in the England side, and I led by example. I think I wear my heart on my sleeve. But ultimately, I just absolutely love playing for England. I think that's the most important thing. My favourite career moment for England has to be that bronze medal in the World Cup in 2015. When you're in tournament football and you go through the journey that we'd been on, and the togetherness of the squad and a group of players that you know that'll just fight to the end for each other as we go, I think for me that has to be my highlight, to be able to go to Canada as captain of the team and to lead that squad to a bronze medal, and to know how hard everybody had worked, and the 7-8 weeks we were over there to put everything into it. We really got our just rewards, and it's always something that I've never really had a chance to look back on. And they certainly have defined my career, and they've been big moments for not just me as an individual, not for the Lionesses, but for women's football in England. 100 caps, I never actually thought I would ever reach them, because I had a few injuries. I was out for a year with my ACL. I missed a few tournaments. So to have 100 caps, and on that moment to be able to play against Sweden, to have all my family there and to have a big fuss made around it was, yeah, one of my best days in England player. I like to think that I was an okay player. So for me, I think to be in that club, and for me just to be in that bracket and with them players that have represented their country, the likes of David Beckham, who was my hero, but from the women's side, you look at Farah, cap holder in terms of how many caps she has. Yeah, I mean, I never thought I would be there, but to get there was amazing. And you know what, I think when you play for England, it's the best thing ever, and to do that over 100 times, yeah, everyone was as good as the other. I've probably got well over 50, 60 shirts that are in one of my spare rooms with a lot of my England caps and photos from England. I kept every single one of my armbands, which I've got a special box for them, mainly so that I can look back on, and if and when we have kids, they can look back and say, actually, Mum was England captain. My decision to retire, whenever I was playing, I always knew that if I was retiring, it would be from both club and country. And I think around that Christmas time, I really had a feeling that this was going to be my last year. And I talked it through with the most important people, which is my husband and my family. And to be honest, once it was out there and everybody knew, I probably cried for 2 hours because I knew it was kind of coming to an end. But I think once that decision was out there, it was a bit of a weight off my shoulders. And I'm so fortunate to have been able to do it on my terms, and to have all the messages, all the really nice comments from absolutely everything about my career in them 6 weeks. And still now, I think I'm so humbled by what people say about me as a player and a leader. And yeah, I think it's sad when it comes to an end, but I think I've been so fortunate that I've had the career that I've had and had to experience what I've done over these last 20 odd years. There's a lot of people, not just players, coaches, but people from on boards, and that have worked so hard to get the Lionesses to where they are today, and to have been able to help make that change in the way that we are perceived as athletes, but also as a Lionesses team. I'm so proud of the input that I've had, and to have been part of that process and to see like the fruits of it come to the game now, it's so pleasing to see.
You get too much time to come up with these ideas, you know.
Hold on, 3, 1, 2, 3,
I couldn't do anything with spiders or snakes.
I've honestly felt so happy the last few days just being back in Sheffield, so